Out of all the position groups in the NFL, there may be none more important than the offensive line. They create lanes in the running game and neutralize opposing pass rushers. And while we have seen some great offensive linemen, none have been as dominant as Trent Williams. In the last 3 years, for instance, he has allowed just 2 sacks, with none coming last year in 2023. And when you look at him on paper, he is a generational athlete, running his 40-yard dash in 4.88 seconds despite coming in at 315 pounds, which makes him ideal for pulls or tracking down a linebacker in open space. But he's equally impressive at neutralizing pass rushers, and at age 36, he has the wisdom to lean on from years of dominating this league. And going forward, the 49ers will retain his services as they renegotiated a 3-year deal worth $82.66 million, with the next 2 years being fully guaranteed at a value of $48 million. So the best way to see the player San Francisco is getting is diving into Trent Williams' film from 2023. Initially, we're going to be examining Williams in the running game because that often predicates the success San Francisco will have on the day. And while it would be easy just to focus on his pure athleticism, he's a true technician in the run game. On this run, for instance, Williams is reading 94, engaging with the interior of his pads. Recognizing this, he pulls out the double hand strike, which is not only effective getting him off his pads, but also throws off his entire leverage. In a similar way on this play, Williams is reading 90 and can tell his leverage is off as he's almost lunging towards him. And that double hand strike is just so brutal. You can tell Williams is putting his entire strength into it, and because he's not pulling it out every single time, it's extremely effective. I don't know if I've ever seen it actually fail. Outside of his hand fighting, his athleticism makes him almost unbeatable on these hook blocks. The hook block is pretty prominent in San Francisco's zone scheme, but it's honestly one of the hardest blocks to make. Routinely, the defender you have to block has a few steps on you, in this case more than a few. So Williams takes a 45-degree angle and then does an excellent job of flipping his hips and the entire momentum of this defensive lineman. Then coming behind him, you can see how Christian McCaffrey exploits this weakness of this defense for a ton of gain. He's the difference between your team having a couple yards on this play and picking up a massive gain like they did. Outside of these hook and reach type blocks, I think Williams' athleticism is extremely beneficial in finding his way up to the second level. Like on this play where Williams helps out Banks with a right-handed strike on this defensive lineman before finding his way to the second level. And then once there, he's able to break down an open space and actually make the block on this backer. And once Williams does grab a hold, regardless of what move you try to pull out, you're not going to get away from his grip. And there's not too many offensive linemen that you can routinely ask to not block linebackers but defensive backs like on this play. Outside of his speed and agility, his strength routinely shows up on the field. In this Giants game, for instance, you can see how this down block from Trent Williams opens up this entire lane for Christian McCaffrey to run through, and the rest is history. Or in a similar way on this reach block, once Trent Williams can tell your leverage is off, he's going to attack it hard. And while Williams is impressive in the run game, his pass protection might be even more so. What immediately stood out to me was just how smart he was. On this stunt from the Commanders, for instance, he realizes that because this defensive end is fighting so hard to go interior, he has another defensive lineman coming back on the stunt. And then he's right there to engage with him. And as stunts become more prevalent in the NFL, this skill is going to be extremely beneficial for San Francisco in 2024. Williams also has the ability to go against your best pass rusher, in this case Micah Parsons, and neutralize his day. Here specifically, Williams does an excellent job of timing up his punch with Parsons' pass rush to disrupt his timing. And then once Parsons is able to disengage, Williams does an excellent job of re-engaging. And in a similar way to the running game, Williams can get out there in open space in the passing game on screens like here. And when you have guys like Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey running behind you, this is just a recipe for success. So while Trent Williams is 36, I think it was smart of San Francisco to give him the contract he was looking for, and I expect to continue to see his dominance this year. And maybe we'll even see his 12th Pro Bowl appearance. But ultimately, these are just my thoughts about San Francisco re-signing Trent Williams, and I want to hear some of your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you could like and subscribe, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.